Hello, everyone, and welcome to Prowess Goes Live. Ugh, Wednesdays, you know I love these so much. Um, our goal here at Prowess Project is to help bring you expert tips, expert people, and quick wins on how you, as an online business manager, can continue in your career or even start your career sometimes. And speaking of career, I'm very excited today for today's guest because she is speaking about something that is crucial when you start this career: content. And before you're like shaking in your boots because you're like, oh my God, Ashley, I hate content. I hate content. Let's do a starter question. Starter question is, if you had one more hour in your day, what would you do with it? Put in the chat. If you had one more hour in your day, what would you do with it? The very first thing that I thought of was yoga, because I think it would really center me. And that has the exercise have absolutely fell on the wayside, being a mom and professional and wife and all friend, all the things. And so, what would center me? Um, All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to get started. But hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. At Prowess, we match online business managers with their ideal clients. Um, Sam, I'd probably actually work out. Um, Absolutely. I was going to say exercise. I love that everyone is saying exercise. Man, it is what it is. So, as I said at the very beginning, our goal is to help bring you the latest and greatest from people that you may not have access to otherwise. And today I am absolutely thrilled to bring to the stage Bobbi Mullins, the creator of the Control Alt Reframe method. I absolutely love this. Welcome, Bobbi.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And if you had one more hour in the day, what would it be?
Honestly, it would probably be to nap. But exercise would definitely be second.
Oh God, I love it. To nap. Okay, Bobbi, this is how we start all of our shows. Give us the nitty gritty on how you got to where you are today.
So it definitely wasn't linear. I worked in a variety of industries and positions. But then what happened is in 2015, I was unexpectedly laid off. Um, and I realized that as a mom, I wanted something that gave me more control over my time and over my ability to make income. So I started working on WordPress websites, building them, doing tech support. Um, and then a few months later, I did go back into a corporate position doing some project management. But I also went back to school and got my master's degree in digital marketing. Um, and so over the years I have worked on, helping people social media management, marketing. Um, and then last October, I actually left my corporate position. So it's been kind of a windy road, but in everything that I've done, I've picked up like different skills and different things that have helped me along the way.
Bobbi, you are speaking our language. Almost all of our online business managers have an identical journey to you. We call it the patchwork quilt, where you have some marketing, some sales, some tech, some you name it. And then you bring all of your skills and it just creates this beautiful patchwork. And that's what I'm really hearing you created too.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. And it's so funny whenever you hear, other people go, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I've done." And I think that especially as women, it's something are very resourceful. Whenever we need to get something done, we will find the things, you know, to do it.
Make it happen. Love it. All right, Bobbi. So tell us about your method. Control Alt Reframe. Tell us
Yeah.
what inspired you to create it. How did you create it? And then and then we can talk about what it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my control alt reframe method came about basically because I was struggling. Um, there were times where I would stare at the blank page and not know what to write, and times when I would have all of the drafts, but I wouldn't post it because, at the time I didn't know why, what would stop me. And then as I was working with startups and founders on their, social media management, things like that, I kept seeing a couple things come through where either they were paralyzed by the idea of showing up online, or B, they would burn out constantly trying to create something new. And so this kind of worked out for me and for them. And I'm a little bit of a nerd, a tech nerd. So we're all familiar with, Control Alt Delete. And so I used that um, is like the base of it. And with the control, it's basically like a control in an experiment, which comes from
Ooh.
helping your kids with their homework.
Yeah.
Where you're testing, this is the control I'm testing in my content. And then I'm adding different angles to it and reframing it. Sometimes that's with a different story, or sometimes it's a different format. Um, but it gives me so much more than just one piece of content. You know, our time is too precious to spend so much time on something that is gone in 24 hours.
I love this. And I never ever thought about it. So, can you walk us through an example of a type of content that you would create and how you would be doing the different alts and reframes and what that looks like?
Yeah, yeah. So, for example, um, with my own stuff, one of the phrases that I'll use um, is, you know, you get consistency with clarity.
Hmm.
And so what I would do is I would look at that from maybe a how-to angle, you know,
Hmm.
3 ways to improve your clarity,
Hmm.
or, a way to give it as an analogy. And then, or applying a different um, kind of angle on that, like a contrarian thing. Chaos doesn't give you, the visibility you're looking for. Um, and then reframing that. One time it might be a text post, one time it might be a carousel. Um, so it kind of
Brilliant.
gives you multiple things.
This could not be more timely. And I feel like I say this every week, but this morning, I was sitting there thinking, how in the like what other content do I have to create? Like how am I going to think of something new? But you're right. It doesn't need to be because you do need to have a core message.
Right. And if you look at it, big brands like Nike, Disney, Apple, Nike's Just Do It. In every ad they have, there's a different athlete, there's a different scenario, but their core message stays the same. And you have to repeat that for people to remember you. It will
Totally.
start to feel super boring,
Hmm.
but if you push through with that, people will start to think of you whenever a phrase comes to mind. Um, and so that's important. And, rather than just throwing things at a wall, which so often is what we do, this kind of gives you a path.
Yeah, a formula. That's why I like it
Mhm.
too. Like, I mean, you could see where this is a spreadsheet and it's like, this is the core message. Here are my three reframes. Here are the three things that I'm going to go create and just knock it out. Is that how you think about it? Or,
Yeah, I've built an OS in Notion which lays it out like that. It has the core message, and then I have the reframe, the stories I pull from, things like that, and then a place for my content, which I then go and I pull the core message I'm going to use, and I decide on what angle I'm going to apply to it, and then I also decide on the call to action or where I'm going to lead people, so that I make sure all of those bases are covered, that it makes things so much quicker because I'm not starting from a blank page anymore.
that's exactly right. So, if you had to guess, how much time do you think it is saving? Like, like for you, for example, what you were doing before and what you're doing now, how much time did that save?
So for me, because I would like really try and, content was such a big thing I was trying to put out, I would say that, I mean, per week, it easily saves me 8 to 10 hours um, a week.
Wow, Bobby, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it gives me the time to focus on, things I'm working on with clients or, if I need to do something at the kids' school, whatever it is, it frees up that time so that I'm not so stressed out.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Um, so what I'm thinking for our OBMs is they could both use this for themselves, but also for their clients. So how do you share or what are your thoughts on that? Have you seen like the visionary, the crazy brain that has all the ideas really embrace this method?
Yeah, and that's actually in the recent weeks, I've had a lot of conversation with OBMs and BAs because it's something that I'm looking at working with them on to help with like client work to give a
Sure.
framework, but also with the for people who are doing OBM work, so often you're focused so much on your client work that you don't get the chance to focus on your own. So if this client goes away, then you have to worry about your visibility. However, if you have this framework that you can follow and you can sort of show up online without constantly having to like use that mental strain of thinking of something brand new, it makes it easier for you. So you have, referrals and clients coming in with inquiries while you've got these projects going on, which kind of gives you that, safety net.
So we absolutely see this. We have a online business manager, Natalie, who also works on our team, and she puts out a LinkedIn post very often. And quickly, within months, she had a wait list because of all the content. So because our team loves systems and loves like structure, if their audience is on LinkedIn, for example, how often do you recommend that they post?
And that can vary just depending on the industry, the business itself. Um, Typically 2 to 3 times a week is completely sufficient. I'll be honest with you, whenever I started really putting this method into practice, I am able to post every day, sometimes twice a day, depending on if it fits in there or not, without like it being stressful.
Yeah,
Um, so it definitely allows you to find your rhythm and then you can sort of play with that.
absolutely. Man, I really, really love this. Bobby, you just saved me 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Um, so we talked a little bit about this, but can you give me examples of people that you know that are doing this well and how it's helped them? Like maybe some of your clients and like what results it gave them.
Yeah. So I have clients. I have one who is a business coach, and it has allowed her to like show up on LinkedIn. She
Yeah.
was busy trying to coach her own clients, and so showing up kind of fell by the wayside. But it allows her to know, this is my core message. Um, but in her case, it's like consistency builds credibility. So she's able to take that and then build momentum with it because she's sharing stories on it. She's sharing, a tip on how to implement it. And people are seeing that and they're able to see that she knows what she's doing. This is whether it's a client testimonial or just the fact that she's sharing the how to's. Um, and that means something whenever people are watching. Somebody that helped inspire the method was Amanda Getz. And if you look her up on LinkedIn, you'll see she has got, she talks about a wide range of topics, but they're all related. It's all related to like burnout and it's all related to avoiding that and being able to have the life that you want. Um, and once I started, for me, posting online consistently, I went from literally 200 LinkedIn followers to nearly 3,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't anything that I was, like, pushing for. It
Right.
sort of just naturally happened. Um, as I was showing up online and as people were able to see what I was talking about and what I was doing. So it's crazy how the difference in being able to show up consistently.
So is your main channel LinkedIn?
Yeah, so my main channel is LinkedIn. I do use Instagram, but Instagram for me, I found is more. Sometimes I'll put similar content out there, but a lot of it's more behind the scenes kind of things. Um, but yeah, so LinkedIn is the place where I found has really worked with connecting with other like businesses and business owners. Um, has been super easy there.
Absolutely. Um, so with LinkedIn, there's some chatter that it's getting oversaturated and that, well, really, that's what it is, or that's what I'm hearing. Do you feel like that's true? Or do you still think that there's a huge opportunity on LinkedIn?
I still think that there's a huge opportunity on LinkedIn. I have only been active on LinkedIn for like the last 2 years. I had a LinkedIn
Oh,
prior to that, and I just never touched it because it felt like it was a platform that I just, was a little bit
yeah,
more executive like, and I was like, I don't really need it. But no, I think that there's still a lot of room on LinkedIn. And I think that especially for OBMs and VAs who are wanting to connect with, fractional workers or for business owners, that it's the perfect place because that's what they're scrolling for. On Instagram, as much as I love it, even if you're scrolling through Instagram, you want to laugh, you want to be entertained. Um, so sometimes that could be distracting from what you're actually trying to share with people.
totally. I was actually thinking about that last night. My algorithm is wild right now, but it's like business and then political and then like funny and so but it's you're right. Like I just wanted the funny, but I'm getting all the other
Mhm.
things too. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Um and what do you see performs the best in LinkedIn? Do you feel like it is the actual message and content, or do you feel like it is um, videos always do better, carousels always do better, pictures always do better? What do you think?
I have tested this quite a bit, and it's funny. It's very much a mix. Um, the thing that I found that ultimately does best is whenever you are um, resonating with the audience. A lot of times that ties it into a story, a personal story. I used to struggle with showing up online, and then I found how to do this. Um, that's really the main thing. I've posted videos, I've done carousels, and I've seen decent engagement from all of them, but not so clearly that I could be like, this is, where the gold is.
Yeah,
I think it really just comes down to that message that you're conveying and what's most comfortable for you to convey that in.
absolutely. Is there anything else in particular that you would like to share with this audience about content and time batching and your honestly awesome method?
I would say that to me, it's whenever you're working like in that operation space, I understand the time constraint of by the time you put everybody else's stuff out and it gets to yours, you're like, just never mind. You know, because it's exhausting. Um, but whenever you stop to think about it, really, you're the person that you should be showing up for, you know? Whenever we make that promise to ourselves to do this, we should be like, no, I said I was gonna. But so often the opposite tends to be true, where it's like, oh, I promised this client that I would do this, so let me follow through. But I think that this method really helps with that because if you can sit down for, you know, an hour and start with that core message and then break it up and take it from different angles, that you will have, your week's worth of content and probably even some left over that you can start to schedule out for following weeks so that you're just alternating messages. Because I know as a mom, as somebody who has had a side hustle and a business, how much that just weighs mentally, physically, all the things. But realizing that you don't have to feel so burnt out or let yourself down, at the end of the day is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. We do have a question from Shannon. Is there a cheat sheet of this formula that we can apply when we're stuck on content creation? And what are the variables she looks at to reframe when stuck?
Yeah, I'll be happy to send you over a little, sheet that kind of explains it and gives you some of the variables. Because it's literally, and the great thing about it is that whenever you're looking at it and you're taking it from these different angles, there are some things that you can take from, a how-to angle three different times because you're just applying it differently, you know? But it multiplies that content. And um, there was I don't remember, years ago, an experiment done where there was a chair that was put in the middle of a room and 20 people that were brought in. And every person had a different perspective on that chair. It it was
What do you mean?
it was like the way that they saw the chair. Some people saw it from behind, some people saw it from,
Understood.
in front of, on the side. And that's kind of like what your content is. So
Yeah.
you're, putting it out there, but to help people sort of see it from their perspective, you're just, tweaking and changing it. But yeah, I would be happy to get you over like a little cheat sheet that sort of walks you through it. Because it honestly, it saves so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, how is ChatGPT helping this or hurting this?
So with the OS that I've built, I laid it out because where you can use it to where you are basically like taking building blocks and
Mhm.
you're, this core message, this angle, this is my, so then you just fill it in. But I also did it because I know that we get stuck. I know that there are weeks when we're just off. I set up a custom GPT that allows you to help, see what your core message is or what it is you're pulling out and can help you apply different angles.
I
Um,
love it.
because I think that with AI, it's important not to totally like reject it and be like, no, use it to help you better understand, use it to help you frame it, and then you can tweak it. I think the only time the AI really goes bad is when you're like, write me a post, no context.
No
Then you get
context.
in trouble, you know. But if
Yeah.
you're like, here's my message, help me come at this from a contrarian angle. It can give you some solid ideas on, you know, those angles.
Yeah. Oof. Um, amazing. And are you a ChatGPT or Claude girl or something else?
I am a chat GPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my boyfriend Claude. So, trying to manage both of them. It's tough.
Yeah. I'm trying to like try Claude a little bit and like sort of test those waters too.
Yeah. So this is a question that we ask everyone on here. A lot of our OBMs would love to work with people like you, solopreneurs like you. Well, actually, do you have a team?
No, I'm actually
Okay,
a one person team currently.
perfect. So yeah, they love to work with solopreneurs as partnership partners or what have you. So I'm curious, what is one thing in your business that you would love fixed, solved, or is annoying you, however you want to look at it?
Um, One thing in my business, um, that would either be my Dipsado setup, um,
Yeah.
which it works. But it needs some help. It's been hacked together. Um, That or like if I could like pass off something to somebody, I think it would be like the creation of like graphics. Um, but yeah, those two things.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, where can our audience find you?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. Um, it's the LinkedIn slash n slash Bobby dash Mullins. Um,
Perfect.
or on Instagram, it's at that Bobby. Um, so yeah, and I'm still updating it, but I've set up my Control Alt Reframe website. But yeah,
Hey.
I would love to, chat with some of you.
Oh, fantastic. We will put those links in the show notes for everyone because I'm sure you're going to run over. In particular, I am very interested in your LinkedIn. I'm excited to see this in action. So thank you so much, Bobbi. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone who is watching, thank you for taking time with us. And we will be back next week with another guest. Thank you so much. Bye, y'all.